So if you want to lower the blood sugar spike of a bowl of white rice, you should actually, believe it or not, add more carbohydrates to it.
Yeah, specifically black beans.
Right. So today, our mission is a deep dive into the highest standard of clinical meta-analyses. We really want to figure out exactly what the humble black bean is doing inside your body.
I mean, let's unpack this a bit, because most people just see them as, a cheap burrito filler.
Exactly.
Mm.
But looking at these trials, they act a lot more like active biological agents once they actually hit your bloodstream.
Yeah, and to see that in action, we really just need to look at how they interact with circulating cholesterol. Because when you eat black beans, their soluble fiber forms this really thick gel in your intestine.
Like a physical barrier.
Kind of, yeah. And that gel literally traps bile acids. So your body actually needs those bile acids to digest fats.
Right, so if they get trapped.
Exactly. They get trapped and flushed out of your system, which means your liver has to quickly synthesize more of them.
Oh, and to do that, it pulls circulating LDL right out of your blood.
You got it. You're effectively forcing your body to burn through its own cholesterol reserves. It's a pretty elegant mechanism.
And looking at the data, I mean, that mechanism really pays off. The trials show that consuming about half a cup to a cup of cooked beans daily lowers circulating LDL by up to 19%.
Which is massive, and it reduces overall cardiovascular disease risk by 11%.
Yeah. But, okay, I'm looking at this blood sugar trial here, and I'm honestly stuck on a paradox.
The rice and beans one.
Yeah. It says adding black beans to white rice lowers the post-meal glucose spike compared to just eating the rice alone. But, I mean, beans are fundamentally carb-dense, right?
Very much so.
So how does stacking carbs on top of carbs result in less sugar in the blood? That doesn't make sense.
Well, it comes down to a structural difference in the carbohydrates themselves.
Rare.
See, black beans are loaded with resistant starch.
Okay, so it resists digestion.
Exactly. Unlike typical carbs that rapidly break down into glucose in the small intestine, resistant starch literally resists it. It just bypasses the small intestine entirely. Right. And on top of that, black beans contain these dark pigment antioxidants called anthocyanins.
I've heard of those, usually in blueberries and stuff.
Yeah, same compounds. But here, they actively inhibit specific digestive enzymes, like alpha amylase, which your body uses to break down other starches.
Okay, wait. So the beans aren't just digesting slowly themselves. They're actively interfering with the digestion of the white rice.
Yes.
It's like they're throwing a wrench into your body's enzyme machinery.
That's a perfect way to put it. They slow the entire digestive process down, and that translates to a much smoother, flatter blood sugar curve after you finish a meal.
Okay, but wait, if these beans are so good at resisting digestion and, locking up enzymes, doesn't that mean they also lock up their own nutrients?
Ah, yeah, that is the catch.
Because black beans are packed with iron,
Mm.
right? But if the bean is actively fighting back against digestion, how do you actually absorb anything useful from it?
Well, they are rich in plant-based iron, which is known as non-heme iron, along with those anthocyanins, but they also contain anti-nutrients like phytates.
Phytates.
And phytates naturally bind to minerals, which basically blocks your intestinal tract from absorbing them.
So eating a bowl of plain black beans is basically like trying to absorb water through a sponge that's wrapped in plastic.
Pretty much.
I mean, the nutrients are there, but the phytates form this impenetrable barrier.
Yes, but you can actually melt that plastic barrier with a very simple chemical reaction.
Okay, I'm listening.
So if you pair black beans with a source of vitamin C, like tomatoes, bell peppers, or even just a heavy squeeze of lime juice.
Oh, which is classic in Mexican food anyway.
Exactly. The ascorbic acid basically acts as an escort. It grabs onto the iron before the phytates can trap it, converting the iron into a soluble form your intestines can easily absorb.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that simple pairing can literally triple your iron absorption. And if you're cooking them from scratch, soaking them overnight and using a pressure cooker neutralizes a massive portion of those phytates before you even eat them.
Okay, so the takeaway for you is pretty straightforward here. Aiming for like half a cup to 1 cup of thoroughly cooked black beans most days provides serious cardiovascular and metabolic protection.
Absolutely. Just whatever you do, do not forget the lime juice or the tomatoes to actually unlock those minerals.
Right, and always soak them first.
For sure. Though, there is actually one more structural quirk to consider with that resistant starch we talked about.
Oh, what's that?
Well, when you cool cooked beans in the fridge, their cellular structure alters, and it creates even more resistant starch.
Wait, just by getting cold?
Yeah. This chilled starch improves your blood sugar response not just for that specific meal, but it carries over to improve your metabolic response at your next meal, hours later.
Which really leaves you wondering, if simply cooling a carbohydrate fundamentally changes how our bodies process it, could the temperature at which we store our leftovers hold the secret to hacking our metabolism?